the amount of wind noise that is in the back of this video. I want to start making this a regular Wednesday night thing, um, where I do a live for 45 minutes or an hour every Wednesday night. Um, Let me know down there in the old shit talking section what you think of that. So I put up a video a couple days ago that drew up quite a bit of attention, and there were so many. Well, I don't want to say that there were so many comments I couldn't respond. There were so many of them that I chose not to respond and wait to make this particular video. Excuse me while I have a smoke. Hello, Keto Life. Bama Josh.
Hey, Keto Life. Mr. Bama Josh, am I wrong to assume you're from Alabama?
Yeah, roll Tide, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let me break down. More lives would be awesome. Well, I'm going to work on doing one at least every Wednesday. Can't guarantee you anything after the race on Sunday because I probably would have drank too much and I wouldn't remember anyway. Sorry. Beer and NASCAR go together. All right, so let me give you a rundown of what I've got here that you're going to have access to. Okay, number one, chunk of dirt that you're not going to have to pay me a penny for. Bama isn't from Alabama. That's hilarious.
Well, educate us. Sorry.
There's a chunk of dirt out there that's flat. It's next to the creek. Undoubtedly, if you dug around out there, he's her husband.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. That if you dug around on the other side of the hill, one way or the other, that there's more than likely a spring that you can access out back. You need to put in a water box, which is literally just you make a box out of cement. You put it together. About $100 worth of cement. You can make a water box for it to gather in. Not an issue. So you would have fresh water coming out of the side of the hill into a water box that you could figure out some sort of a tiny little solar pump anyway. So there's, out of the 10 acres that I have here, there's probably 3 acres past the goats to where it ends that's flat. Somebody asked about the sapling trees. Anything smaller than your thumb, get rid of it. Leave the big pretty trees, cut it down. You'll have access to my freshly tilled garden that you will see in the next video that comes out on this channel. And when I say freshly tilled, I had a man here with a Ford tractor leaking diesel all over my dirt twice. And he tilled the whole thing for $50. But I've got a hillside garden that's the better part of about 3/4 of an acre. You've got access to the rainwater collection. There's a hose there. There's also the creek, but the real estate in the dirt is what you have access to. Now, in addition to behind the goats, you go on top of the hill. If you go back a handful of videos, and I'm going to make you do your own homework so that I can get views for this, and watch my commercials if they're less than a minute long, please, and thank you. If you want to give me a 32-minute commercial when I'm trying to watch a 5-minute video, no thank you. Anyway, up on top of that hill, it's a bit of a walk. There's a road over here, but you can get up to it. We can access it. In order to be kind to the neighbors, because it's their road, you might want to maybe put some black rock down, but you can go down, and there is a flat spot on top of that hill that gives you a view down on the farm next door and a view of the rocks next to the Powell River, the big mountainside that's on the other side of the river in Tennessee. Let's see. There's my outdoor cooking space that consists of a propane grill, a charcoal grill, and a smoker that it can either be ran off of charcoal or wood. Of course.
Table.
Well, yeah. There's the table that we're sitting at with my lovely pallet chairs. You've got access to mail right here on site. We get daily mail delivery. And if there's somewhere that you thought you wanted to put in a septic tank or not, outhouse, okay, get it. Because theoretically speaking, you're not going to own the chunk of dirt, but I will allow you to stay on it as long as we can get along for free. That includes, but not limited to, if you want to put a travel trailer, if you want to buy an Amish cabin and you just need somewhere to put it while you build it into your off-grid site and you take it somewhere else, that's the place to put it. If you want to sleep out there in a tent, okay, we'd have to come up with some sort of a like a sock on the door,
Understanding or
kind of an
agreement?
understanding that like I would allow you access to my kitchen, my stove, my toaster oven, that particular shower that's off the kitchen, and that toilet if you needed to, but it would have to be like I'd let me get out of bed and put some socks and maybe some underwear on because I like to take a shower and sleep naked next to my wife, but you know,
Mhm.
perks for her being married to a man that's nearly a generation younger, and perks to me for marrying a lady who's a generation older than I am. Anyway, now what am I looking for in somebody that would come out here for that? Number one, I'm not going to judge you if you're missing teeth because it's genetics, but if you're a fucking junkie,
Fuck you.
sorry. You're not going to come out here and build a Heisenberg shed on my shit so that I lose my house, my land, my whatever, okay? Not going to happen. I am a smoker and I understand that, but I expect you to be responsible with your cigarette butts, meaning whatever brand of smokes that you smoke, I don't want to find them laying all over the place. Keep a coffee can wherever it is you smoke and be responsible with your cigarette butts. Number two, do you have any sort of a discernible trade? Can you do plumbing? Can you do electric? Can you do basic carpentry? Can you dig a hole? Can you... Because to be able to come out here, I'm going to have to see whether or not you have... I've got a damn good set of skills myself, and I don't think I could go out there and build a log cabin. You need to have enough skills. No shortage of Cummins powered Dodges around these parts. I feel like I'm the only guy that doesn't have a Cummins.
At least you got a Dodge. Or two.
Yeah, I have two Dodges. You need to have at least the skill set that I have, somewhere close, if not better. I could take marginally lower, and I'd be glad to teach you some things like how to cut down trees, how to pull bark off of logs, how to do things of the sort, okay? Now the next question after do you have any skills is, do you own any sort of equipment? And when I say equipment, like I've got a couple of chainsaws, I've got gas shears, I've got lawnmowers, I've got blowers, I've got things of the sort, but like, do you own a tiller? Do you have, I don't know, maybe a quad that you could pull a stump out with? Okay, and again, I'm not going to just open this up to just anybody who's going to come out here and become dependent on what I'm doing here, because I got enough going on, feeding myself, feeding my wife, feeding my cats, taking care of my mother's house, and when it comes time, making sure that she's got fruits and vegetables for the season, even though she's got amazing neighbors that overgrow the hell out of everything, and gave her everything that I canned last year. Do you have a vehicle that can make a 40-mile, well, 80-mile round trip from where you sleep? That's the question. Because if you want to go, if you want to go to town, if you want to go over to Kentucky where they've got everything, it's 40 miles one way. You need to be able to have a vehicle that will go an 80-mile round trip and not have to try to get... There's no phone service out here. The only reason that you're seeing me is that we've now got fiber optic internet that came in.
Last month.
You need to be able to make sure that you can at least get to and from cell phone service without having to rely on somebody. And if your car is that much of a piece of shit, can you fix it is the thing. I got 3 shit boxes in the front yard. I'm headed to the wrecking yard on Saturday morning to get a seat for the white truck because it does nothing. So I got to go to the same wrecking yard I got a transmission for anyway. And I'm also looking for your ability to work with others, because I have an ability to work with others myself. I can teach myself to get along with just about anybody. I mean, I made friends with a homeless drunk that shit behind my shed in the city. I've got the ability to make friends with anybody. So the ability to work with others is a thing that, like, if you need help with something, I'll be glad to help you. If I need help with something, could you come and help me? and have it not be more maddening than not having help at all. Uh, Maybe if you've got basic hunting skills, uh, if you, I mean, hell, even if you wanted to get a couple of more goats, I've got space for goats everywhere. If you even get to a spot where you feel like you would like to move my goats to use them as uh, organic crunching machines, I'm game to do that too. So we can use the goats as tools. My thing is that I mean, if you made a couple of mistakes in your past and you've been to jail for some dumbass shit, and you got a logical explanation that lines up with what you got on the internet, I'll have that conversation with you. I just don't want, I don't want somebody out here that I feel like is going to compromise. I mean, I'm not particularly worried about somebody coming in the house and bothering my wife and I when we're in bed, because I'll turn them into a piece of fucking Swiss cheese. I mean, I've got guns everywhere inside of this house, and they're all locked and loaded. Not worried about it. I might be from the city, but I tell you, I didn't miss my time at the shooting range. But just a willingness to work with the chunk of dirt and just improve upon it. If it's, you know, for, you want somewhere to, or are you leather tramping it around the world right now, and you happen to be coming into the Cumberland Gap and you'd like a place to take a nap, take a bath, take a shower, let me feed you for a couple of weeks, and you just, if you want to stop by and be a farmhand for a while, that works too. You know, and like I said, if you want to build an Amish cabin and move it someplace else, here's the perfect place to put it until you find somewhere to put it. You know, or if you wanted to set up something a bit more stationary because you're into life and you'd like something comfortable, we can talk about that too. You know, and I might even be able to look in on you if that's the case. But I don't have a set thought into who it is I'm looking for to be here for this, but I'll know when I meet somebody when the shoe fits, as opposed to when you're walking around with a piece of gravel that's in the bottom of your shoe, going between the ball of your foot and your toe, and you're moving it back and forth for 45 minutes before you take the shoe off and dump it out. I'm not looking for that, but it's whatever it is. But yeah, access to the garden plot, access to land, access to water, access to a shower, a electric stove, a propane grill, a smoker, you know, the whole 9 yards. Open my place up for such, if it is right. And for those of you who don't particularly have social media, which I saw about a half dozen of you in the comments section don't have social media yet. You're on YouTube, but you don't call that social media. It's all social media. The name of this channel, without the space in the middle, Nobody's Travels, look at the way it's spelled so that you get it right, at gmail.com, and send me an email of what's going on in your life, what it is that you have to offer, and why it is you think I should let you come out here and do some things. Hello, D. Hyatt. I haven't seen you around in a minute. Send me an email, nobody'stravels@gmail.com. And again, look at the way the channel is spelled if you're new here. Take the space out of the middle, and it's at gmail.com. If you spell it with an O,
Oh well, sorry.
absolutely, you will never get a response from me because I'll never get it. You'll probably get some responses from, well, what, the person that sold that email address? Somebody sold that email address once upon a time. Here's a funny story. And I still get emails at that email address for Harry Turd. And I'm not necessarily angry at the person who sold my email address to somebody as Harry Turd, because that's fucking hilarious if you grew up watching Beavis and Butthead. But at the same time, dude, come on. You know, watch my videos and sell my email address to somebody in India and tell them that my name is Harry Turd. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Now, I'm going to be rather selective in the event that somebody comes out here, but I am open to conversation and discussion to do with just about anything. You got to have something to bring to the table, though. I'm not going to bring somebody out here who's going to be 100% codependent on me and knocking on my back door at 4:30 in the morning because they need to shit. Like, go take a dump in the creek. I you know, if I'm up and around, I'm up and around with the wife, but she's out the door about 7, and between 7 and 8 is when I have a couple of smokes and wake up. But about 8:30 is generally when I'm out in the yard at that point. And I guess boundaries would be the thing,
Yes.
you know.
Respect.
However, if it were 1987 and I were a sign hanging on a wall in a diner, I refuse the right to refuse service to anybody. I reserve the right to refuse service to anybody. And if you get to a point where you're a pain in my ass out here, in addition to the good old boys out in the holler that will come and kick your door in and manually evict you, eventually the sheriff will get here, and that'll be your saving grace. If I find out you're, you know, cooking dope or making, well, if you're making moonshine, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation if you're making shine. But if you're cooking dope out these parts, I tell you what, the good old boys in these hollers, I know more than a handful of boys in Cummins powered trucks that run around out in these parts that wrestle cattle as their side job outside of their day job. They already work a 40-hour week, and then they're working another 80 hours on top of that wrestling cattle. Yeah. Bye, Felicia. America wants to know where the ammunition went in this country. I will tell you where the ammunition went. I promise. The ammunition is all in Lee County, Virginia. We have it all. We have all of the ammunition. And if we don't have it here, we can get it at the flea market in Tazewell, Tennessee for $40 a box, which is a highway robbery. But I would venture to say that there's more ammunition in Southwest Virginia than there probably is in the entire state of California. And that is not a stretch of the imagination. I have never lived around people who have proven to be more armed than the people out here, yet I don't question my safety out here. Jonesboro, Tennessee. Well, you should come out this way. I'm in Lee County, Virginia.
Nice Sunday drive. Maybe
I'm about-
Saturday.
I'm about a 3.5-minute drive from the Hancock County and Lee County line, where Powell River Road and Flatwoods come together, where Virginia and Tennessee are. But now, you want to know where America's ammunition is at? It is it's out here. I've seen some shit since I've been here. That I know a guy that's got a barn full of fucking bullets and old Soviet era fucking military boxes. Bunch of 7.62. Anyway, this video is probably going to get yellow flagged because I'm talking about Russia and ammunition. If I were a betting man, state line, Mississippi. All right. If I were a betting man, everything that's going on in Russia right now is being fueled by Armenia. They were the biggest armed country. You just have to do that. We need it. Well, hey, head on out for a weekend. There's actually, let me sidebar. If you look up the motel that is in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee,
That's what I was going to message.
it is a beautiful little place, and it is in a beautiful little town. They got a nice little restaurant and a nice little bar in there, and it's like, what, $59 a night or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Something silly.
Feasible.
It's the Cumberland Gap Hotel, and it is like the most storybook place you'll ever see in your life. They've got a big water wheel that runs in town that's next to the Bicycle Museum. They have car shows almost every weekend, even though it's only like the same 7 cars. If you haven't been there, you've never seen those 7 cars. The streets are clean. There's no garbage. There's generally some sort of a street festival happening with people standing on a flatbed trailer sitting on hay bales. it is a cute little town, and they've got a motel in that town that, if you look up the rating on the website, they get like a 4.9 out of 5, and it's only like $60 a night.
And you can walk the whole town from there, easy peasy.
But you can walk railroad trails. You can walk to Kentucky. You can
Yes.
walk to Tennessee. You can walk to Virginia from there. It's a neat little place. But anyway, nobodiestravels@gmail.com. And I'm not looking for you to send me like a formatted resume, because I don't think I could get you a formatted resume. I've worked so many jobs, but they all kind of overlapped into one another. Like in my earlier years, I drove diesel-powered equipment, and it was always one job just lapsed into the other, and you never really had a resume. You had a reputation for how you treated the equipment, and I never had a bad reputation for how I treated the equipment. And everything I drove was always immaculately clean. Anyway. Let me know what your qualifications are.
Your skill set.
Something. Because I've got quite a decent skill set, and I can help you do a lot of things in life. And I would like to find somebody who can do the same in the opposite direction, per se, that like we could work together and do all kinds of, great things. And if you happen to have something gas powered, even better. One thing I won't let you do, I got 2 saws. I'll let you run my 170 because I understand that unless you run a chainsaw regularly, you're going to run that chain into the dirt. So I will let you run my 170 into the dirt, but you're not running my 290 into the dirt. Only
170's been liked.
That 170, yeah, got ran by a guy that I know that was my supervisor at one point, that I found out at a later date was actually a crackhead.
Yes.
He'd gone to prison for running somebody over with his car when he was drunk. He killed somebody and spent like 12 years in prison. They don't tell you these things when they give you a new supervisor at work. Yeah, he was an alcoholic crackhead.
How do you know he was a crackhead?
The guy that he rented a house
Yes,
from...
well, you need to share that.
Well, nobody really knew that he was a crackhead, but the guy that he rented the upstairs at a guy's house whose name was Hans, who owns a catering business in Charleston, South Carolina, called the Crazy Dutchman. And he does dog rescue for dogs that like have no teeth, that have a tongue that just like hangs out over here and flaps. Can't make this shit up. They filmed, there was a CBS show called Reckless that didn't make it a whole season, that actually got filmed inside of that disgusting dog-infested house. Mike moved out, and they were having issues with the plumbing, and he called a plumber. And in order to clean the main sewer line from the house to the street, it was full of crack pipes. That was my boss at a job that I worked. Flushed enough crack pipes down the toilet to clog like 1/3 of a mile worth of mainline sewer. Hindsight being 2020, we'd be. He had his work truck was a 2007 F-150 extended cab, so it was before the extended cab swung or the windows rolled down. It wasn't a 4-door, just an extended cab. The inside of it was infested with cockroaches, and the floor had like an inch of dirt on it. And we'd be going over the Ravenel Bridge in Charleston, South Carolina, coming from Isle of Palms, Mount Pleasant, over the bridge, back into Charleston to go to Johns Island. In the left lane, radio turned as loud as it would go. He would be talking on the phone, smoking a cigarette, drinking a Red Bull, swerving back and forth while there were like palm tree debris just flying off of the trailer, and I would be sitting sideways in the back seat with no way to access if we crashed, or to exit the vehicle if we'd crashed. I had some of the worst anxiety of my life working that job. No fun. No fun at all.
I think of it one dirty word with that job. Details.
The only reason that we bring that man up is the MS-170 chainsaw that I have. I lent it to that man for a weekend, and he burned the chain off of it. He ran it with no oil in it. He at least had mixed gas because he was in the landscaping rig that we had for work, so we had mixed gas. But he ran the chain without oil. He burned up the bar, burned up the chain, and wanted to get shitty with me. When, oh, I paid to have it sharpened. No, you didn't. There's no teeth left on that chain. That guy ran that saw for a weekend, and 8 years later, it still runs.
Still.
Yeah, well, buy Steel products. Hello, Tony Jean. We are good. Just enjoying our spring weather before it cools back down. I think it's going to be, what, 28 degrees on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I thought we were done with the blackberry winter per se, but
It
guess not.
was like 85 degrees out here today, and I worked all day. And I'll show you this in the video that's coming up this week. I built a bridge, washed the porch, I cleaned the smoker, I cleaned the floor mat, I cleaned up the water treatment system.
Sorry,
Cough heard round the world. 1, 2, 3, and to the foe. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. I did like 5 loads of laundry today, and I hung it on the clothesline to dry because the weather said we were supposed to be getting gusts of wind between 80 and 90 miles an hour, which is fucking insane. I feel like it's just passing right by, like just a little ways over in Tennessee right now, like Memphis, they're getting tornadoes, they're getting all kinds of shit. Yeah, it's been, well, it was not windy at all this morning, and it was like a light switch went off. And then it just got windy. And they're calling for like 50 mile an hour sustained winds with 80 to 90 mile an hour gusts. And it's supposed to start raining at like 3 a.m. We'll see how that works. I got to make sure I go latch the door on the container because it's still watertight. And if the creek floods down there, then won't get any water inside of it. Now, made hamburgers for dinner. Took some anjo chilies, stuck them in some hot water with some garlic and some beef bouillon, and I rehydrated some chilies. Hello from Idaho, Velma Hopkins. So I rehydrated some chilies and I grilled some Amish hamburger patties tonight. Had my mother over for dinner, but I cut the rehydrated chilies up, and the wife and I had them. Oh, the goats are fine. The land doesn't flood back there. Yeah, we had those chilies on hamburgers with some pepper jack cheese, a slice of tomato, and some pickles. Had some baked beans that I added some maple syrup to. They're quite tasty. Just another day out in the country, living it up. It's supposed to rain tonight with wind gusts up to 40. Yeah, it's supposed to be windy in the whole area. I wouldn't be surprised if in the morning the wife's school was on a 2-hour delay because there's going to be debris in the road with the... I mean, everything's going to be wet and the wind's going to be blowing and shit's going to get heavy and it's going to fall on the road. And yeah, there's about 14 different ways to get out of here. But if you took 3 of them and you had to figure out the 4th road on the way out, it's going to take you the better part of 2 hours to get down to the main highway. That, like, depending on where the logs fall on things, like it could take hours to get out of here because it takes about an hour in any direction, give or take. And if you get 2/3 of the way into one, you got to figure out where to turn around and come back. I don't need chickens; they stink.
We've talked about maybe getting like 2.
And I'm not looking to cut the heads off of chickens. If I so happen to shoot one of the grouse that I got living out back, that's another story. But I'm going to leave the grouse for another season. I have a mated pair of them that live back there, and they haven't been seen in this region for a really long time. And I'm going to let that mated pair make babies that inbreed, because that's what you have to do to restore a population of animals that have been hunted to extinction in an area. And to which Virginia has very lax, well, at least this side of Virginia has very lax hunting laws that you can pretty much kill whatever, whenever, if it's on your land. And most everything out here, with the exception of deer, have been hunted into extinction. Like, there used to be big cats on this side of the country. Nobody's seen a big cat on this side of the country in like 150 years. We don't really eat eggs. Unless I'm like making cornbread or pancakes, we don't eat just eggs. Chicken periods are not my favorite.
They're kind of smelly.
Yeah, no, things have just been hunted to a point here, and I have located a pair of and a nest of a mated pair of grouse. I don't have anywhere for ducks to float. And I won't need chicken poop for the garden for quite some time. Nobody's ever planted anything in this dirt. I got probably 10 years of nutrients in the dirt on that hillside.
Well, and isn't goat poop?
I'm not shoveling goat shit to put on my food. I'm good.
Yeah, but it's vegetarian.
Yes,
That's
it's
what I meant.
yeah, no, it's non-protein based, so it doesn't contain bacteria, if that's what you're asking. Yes, and it could be used, but I don't plan on using shit to grow my food. I've got a very fertile chunk of dirt. Once I get the roots and the rocks out of it, it'll be good. But, yeah, I'm going to work on preserving a species of animal that's nearly extinct before I potentially kill one and eat it. If you don't know what a grouse is, perhaps you should look it up. But they call it steak of the forest, because even the breast meat is red meat, and it tastes like steak. So I'm excited in a couple of years to look forward to those. As far as keeping more animals, dude, I got all the rocks in the world. Come walk my creek. Could probably put like 80,000 pounds of rocks in your vehicle, and you wouldn't even notice that I was missing any.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a grouse. They make a very distinct noise. A very distinct noise. Anyway, yeah, if you're in the rocks, let me know. I got all the rocks in the world. I don't have any delectable Amish things to. Do you have a? That was a spider, and I think it went down your shirt. I'm getting
a boob show. Sorry, folks, but
the audio is gone. I don't know how to fix that. I haven't touched anything. Hooray for titties. Walk around and take as many rocks as you want. Big rocks, little rocks, small rocks. You might think the audio's gone. It might just be that quiet out here. Bring a bucket. You might need to bring a dump truck. I've got that many of them.
there's several to choose from.
I just rolled one down a hill today that weighed probably as much as I did, and it rolled too far out into the middle of the road, and I had to roll it back into some grass. I think it was like the size of my generator. Well, anyway, folks, this will be a Wednesday this week. I don't know whether we're doing Friday or Sundays yet. I'm getting there. Random videos in between. I will catch you guys in the next one. I'll bring as many buckets as you want. I'm beat up and I need to go take a shower. I probably smell like I've been sweating in the yard for 10 hours. I'm on the other side of the table from my wife, so she hasn't told me how offensive I currently am or not. Typically, I want these to be longer on Wednesday nights, but the beginning of spring has been it's been a thing this week, and I'm beat up and tired, and I need to go wash myself and put something comfy on. So, it'd be one naked woman screaming, running around if there was a spider in my top. Well,
I'm not running, Miss Caroline.
to be honest with you, I'm the one that's allergic and like goes into anaphylactic shock, and my hands start
Yeah.
doing things, and my lips start swelling shut when I get bit by a spider, depending on what the spider is. But I'm probably gonna go inside, and after I take a shower, I'm probably gonna put my feet up on the couch and watch something stupid like Joe Dirt. Or maybe we'll lay in bed and put on a VHS tape, because we are that fancy. And you want to know why? This will be the last thing I leave you with in this video. Do you want to know why I have a collection of VHS tapes and a VCR? Think about this one for a second, okay? So you got cable, you got satellite, you got a smart TV, you got whatever it is that you got, okay? And you can set a sleep timer. But in the back of your mind, when you lay down to go to sleep, I've got 240 minutes. I've got 240 minutes to watch this program before the TV shuts off. And your brain never shuts off because it knows that you've got 240 minutes of sleep timer. Now, we have a VCR that's hooked up to a smart TV that quit updating in, what, 2011 or something? 12? Maybe September 2012? It was a Samsung. Anyway, we have a VCR hooked up to it, and we've got things like Days of Thunder, The Shawshank Redemption, Dances with Wolves. Like, we've got long VHS tapes that I find for 25 and 50 cents at junk stores all around this area, okay? You just push it in, and it plays. You turn the TV on. I have no remote at all for it. The movie plays through all the previews, like we all, now coming to a theater near you, and it's like Bambi or something, right? But you put it in, and in the back of your mind, you know how long that movie is, but you don't know that it's 240 minutes before the TV shuts off. And you can lay down, and you know that movie with your eyes closed, and your ears can keep processing it, and you can see the pictures of what's happening in that movie in your brain because you know it, but you're in a relaxed state. And you fall asleep considerably faster than you do watching some shit that's got a commercial for a ShamWow or a purple mattress in it. Or, God forbid, you get up, if you're watching, like, the CW at 12:30 at night, and they got commercials on for sexy hot singles that are available in your area. I can't even make a phone call in my area. You expect me to believe there are sexy hot singles? But no. And then the video plays, goes through the credits, it ends, the machine rewinds it all the way to the back, kicks the VHS tape out, turns off the VCR, at which time the TV, after 10 minutes, turns itself off. And you don't even have to worry about setting a sleep timer. You just put a movie on, and it's helped me sleeping. Watch there be like a sudden urge of VHS tapes in the world, and fucking VCRs. What model of VCR do you got? Well, it's that one from the Petter-ass trailer over on the corner when I was cleaning that stuff out, you see. Long story behind that we won't talk about. Anyway, good seeing y'all. I'll see Keto and Bama on Friday. I'll be out here just, picking my nose and using the toilet like we all do. Just certain things you don't ask, Don. You can fuck off. You'll be banned from my channel. Have a good day.